Hey, kia ora guys, it's Eugene Winterburn, Huge here. Hope you're all doing well. I'm on a bit of a roll with this reconnection thing with all of us guys, fellow classmates from Stream. So what I thought I'd do is start a little bit of a series of where are you now? Where basically I'll contact each and every one of you and just ask you 7 questions via a video link, and I'll share with everyone on the group that video, just so everyone can have a bit of a catch up and see where everyone is and what people are up to these days, because it's been a long time since we've seen each other from our time at St. Pat's Silverstream. I don't know about you, but yeah, as I get older, I definitely remember or reminisce on all the good years we had at Stream, from 1989 to 93. And as I mentioned, we all had different experiences at school. But for me personally, definitely some really positive experiences that I really enjoyed. So anyway, no better way to start than to start with myself. So don't be nervous or afraid. It's only 7 questions, just to recap on, I guess, what our lives have been up to. So these are the same questions that I'll ask you. So I'll start off with myself, Eugene Winterburn. So question number 1 is recap your years at Stream. Where were you from and how many years? So I was local from Upper Hutt. I did 5 years, or just under 5 years at Stream. Started with my good mate that I went to school and intermediate with, of course, so you all know, fellow class member Jamie Williams, and we started as very fresh-faced day boys in the 3rd form at Stream. Went through to 4th form, and then I became a boarder, which really changed everything for me in my experience with school. So I boarded in my 5th and 6th form year. I had some awesome experiences as a boarder. It changed my whole perception of school. There's something unique about that boarder, camaraderie or brotherhood, whatever you call it, but I know you other boarders will feel the same. So I boarded 5th and 6th, and then in my 7th form year, I actually lived with Paddy Ford and his family up in Pinehaven for 3/4 of the year in my 7th form year. And as you know, I then went over to America on an AFS student exchange, where I did another 12 months of high school in upstate New York, in a little place called Allenville, and did 12 months of schooling and life there, and then graduated with a New York State high school diploma. Question 2, what did you do the year immediately after you left Stream? So I entered the workforce. I came back mid to late 94. I pretty much went straight into my first job, which was in retail and sports. I worked at the Front Runner, a sports or a running shoe store in Willow Street in Wellington. I entered my first flatting situation with a couple of our boys, Jamie and Lyndon, in high tie-dye, and yeah, I went straight into the workforce and went from there. Question 3, occupations, various occupational work that you've been doing all these years. So we've been out of school nearly 30 years. I've had various roles in sales, but I guess the major occupation for me was becoming a policeman or a police officer, which was sort of a childhood dream that I always wanted to do at some stage. And I managed to do that while I was living in Auckland. So I recruited into the police, did my training at the Royal New Zealand Police College in Porirua, and then went back to Auckland. Was a general duties cop up there for a few years, and then I transferred back to Wellington in year 2000. Worked in a few different areas of policing in Wellington, and then after a while ended up in my, I guess, my dream job, which was on diplomatic protection with the police, working at high levels with the Prime Minister of the time, Helen Clark, and the Governor General and various other VIPs, which I really enjoyed. But I've always had various sales roles. I'm currently in real estate with my wife Jodie. So we contract to Ray White Real Estate here in Lower Hutt. Team Winterburn Real Estate is the name of our business. Been doing that for about 4 or 5 years. It's going really well after all that time. So we enjoy what we do, enjoy being our own bosses. I'm still involved in the security life a little bit. I'm a licensed and practicing private investigator still. So I do a bit of fraud work, in particular with an insurance company. So I contract to Tower Insurance, doing fraud investigations, also some security work, still do some VIP work and security driving as well. So COVID, like everything, taught us to be pretty diverse, so that we don't have all our eggs in one basket. Married and kids, yes. So I'm married, my second marriage. I'm married to Jody, who's a lovely lady, and we've been married for about 4 or 5 years now. I have 2 children. She has 2 children. So I have 2 children from my first marriage. They're big boys now. So my youngest is 17 this year, and my oldest is 19. Youngest is Carter, oldest is Jackson. They were living and educated up in Kapiti in Waikanae, and both went to Kapiti College. Yeah, and they're both good guys, great guys. My little Carter's a really good little football player, and my oldest Jackson is following his old man and now working in sports retail himself. Where do I live now? I live in Lower Hutt in Wainuiamata. We've got a house here. I've been here for a few years, but have mostly lived in and around Lower Hutt, apart from that time policing in Auckland, a few different flats in Wellington City, but certainly the last decade or so I've been in or around Lower Hutt. What do you remember most? What or who do you remember most from Silverstream? Well, look, all of you, to be fair, probably guys like Brother Bede, in particular, as a rugby coach, as a boarding hostel doormaster, and a fatherhood figure for all of us. He was one person I'll never forget. My good mate Jamie Williams, coming through the school together, but everyone. I thought we had a really unique, close knit year, really varied. Ranging from big Richie Murphy from Tonga to Yuki Kahara, who I know has done really well. Yuki was in one of my boarding hostels for a while. I just heard today from Colin Hancock, our head boy, and he told me some awesome news that Sintang, who I remember really well, is now the Minister of Health for Kiribati, the home country from where he was from, which I thought was just outstanding. So there's some really cool things that people in our year group have done. So I remember you all well, and if we caught up tomorrow, I guess it's that typical stream thing. It'll be like, there'd be no time. It'd be like I just seen you yesterday. That's the kind of bond that that streamers have. Lastly, do you keep in touch with anyone from our year group? Yes, I do. But to be fair, over the years, like most of us, we've just got on living life. There's been some big gaps. I know many travelled overseas, but yeah, I keep in touch with Will, Jamie, Lyndon, messaged him today, and just getting this bunch of emails together for this upcoming dinner on the 31st of July. It's just been awesome seeing some names, familiar names that I know really well. But don't really keep in touch with a lot. Our group was a group that really spread out and spread their wings all over the world. A lot went to Aussie. I've seen Chris Philly a couple of times. I'm really proud of him and what he's doing. He's now at town. And I guess the last time I sort of really caught up with people was in sad circumstances when Woodsy passed away. And that's been a number of years now. So hence why I'm really pushing for everyone to try and make this event for the Silverstream Foundation, the Dinner of Excellence at the end of July on the 31st. It would be so cool to get a whole bunch of us together in some positive circumstances, have a few beers and just catch up, bring our wives and partners along and introduce them to everyone, and just introduce them to a really a close bunch of guys who we were really good friends of or with at school. Quite often, you know, people meet under sad circumstances, so let's try and switch it up a bit and meet, you know, with a bit of a celebration. So I really hope you guys can try and make the 31st. So that's the 7 questions I've got written down. That's a little bit about me and what I've been up to over the years. I hope you enjoy, and I will be in contact with each and every one of you soon to join me on a Zoom meeting and answer these questions, so that we can share it out to the rest of the boys, our year group of 1989 to 93 from Silverstream, so we can all catch up with what everyone's been doing. Cheers, guys. Sectari Freedom to you all, and take care, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.